Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Hey, welcome back, everybody. The role of cannabis has been phenomenal, according to many over the years, in helping them feel better, both mentally and physically. And more people are finally realizing it, that THC, CBD do make a difference in their lives. We're going to talk about that, the role of both of them in products that you might find at goodnaturecannabis.ca. That is the first and only certified living wage recreational cannabis dispensary in Canada's capital. They care about their employees. They pay them what they need to live, not just minimum wage, but the living wage. They also care about their clients. And this gentleman is behind it all. And he's the owner and founder, Clayton Armstrong, is back with us today. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you, sir?
Good. Great to have you back here. I learned so much every time we get together. And I'm thinking we look at different products that you have and even available globally that contain THC and CBD, both of them. And I had a conversation the other day with somebody, and I really couldn't answer the questions why both are contained in many products and what their individual roles are. Can we go there?
Yeah, absolutely. Interestingly enough, little bit of kind of history to get into this and sort of explain it to everyone was before we kind of got involved with the plant, when it was just naturally occurring around the world in sort of the equator area is where it was mostly found. The plant always had a balanced CBD to THC ratio. All the sort of land-race strains had both compounds in it, and they were found together. And when it was first taken, that's what they were getting, sort of a balanced THC to CBD plant. It wasn't until basically the sort of contrabanding of cannabis and the making it illegal, what happened then was there was no money in CBD because it has no psychoactive effect. So what we did was the black market bred out that part of the plant, trying to get more and more higher THC, which was the psychoactive compound, which gave you that high or the buzz that you got. So the black market and sort of the black market or the illegal, basically by making the plant illegal, we muddled it and only went after the psychoactive properties because those are the ones you could feel, and that was what the black market wanted. But together, what they do, so that's just basically what has happened is we've sort of gotten away from a balanced plant. And that's what it was always supposed to be, was balanced. So when they're put together, the THC and the CBD compounds, they're finding, and this is like preliminary studies, but they find they're more effective for pain relief. They're more effective at relieving anxiety, inflammation, epilepsy, cancer, all the benefits that they believe that this could help. Basically, the two compounds together, or that entourage effect, seems to make it more effective in all the categories of the sort of the medical side of things.
So what changed? We talk about the black market, and then we go from there to where we are now. What actually changed?
Well, with legalization, especially here in Canada, medical, and I'm sure most states were like this too, first came medical cannabis for medicinal purposes, and then came the recreational. And so when it is the medical side of things, that CBD is just as important, if not more important, than the THC is for the medical side of things. THC helps with pain. I know there's some, it's mostly pain derived and some some other things that it benefits as well when it comes to like relaxation and things like that. But when it comes to that, anxiety, that anti-inflammation, epilepsy, cancer, they're mostly talking about those CBD compounds or the minor cannabinoids that make up different parts of that CBD compound, like CBC and all those things. So the medical side is what brought it back to us, and then we started getting into a balance. So even in the recreational, and I'm a recreational dispensary, a lot of the products we sell are kind of wellness products in the sense that people are not taking them to get high, they're taking them to feel better. So like topicals and things like that. So thanks to medical legalization of the plant, we're bringing back that CBD compound, which has no illicit value on the black market, but in the medical field has a really high value.
Very interesting. When we talk about the THC, is that really the medicinal portion of it, the pain relieving portion, or do they both do kind of the same thing, but maybe differently, CBD and THC?
Together, they're always more effective than by themselves. So whatever that is, whether it's pain, anxiety, inflammation, the ratio might not be 50-50, but together, the two compounds complement each other. In the preliminary studies that I've read, it always points to that sort of whole plant or that entourage effect is better than just one compound on its own. So I mean, nature had it a balanced plant, and then we sort of changed that. No one does it better than she does. So that's the way I look at it, is the plant was always kind of meant to have both things. And yeah, it definitely seems to be more effective and better when they're paired together. A more balanced experience, especially when you come to talking about just a high on a recreational side of things. THC that has CBD in it, a flower that has both compounds, tends to be a more balanced high. And when I talk about more balanced, some people talk about having anxiety and things like this. Mm-hmm. That I find comes from high THC, super, super high THC sativas that don't have any CBD in them. And when you start bringing the CBD back in, it sort of takes away some of those side effects that some people may find.
So you're a recreational dispensary, and then there would be medical dispensaries, right?
It's up here what has happened. We did have one that was the only one in Ottawa, in the nation's capital, that was like a compounding pharmacy for cannabis. They unfortunately have now closed their doors. So how you get medical cannabis in Canada is you sign up to basically a company and they ship it directly to you. I find it kind of hard because you're locked into one company and one company's products on the medical side of things. So it's a little weird up here. So that's why a lot of people come into a recreational dispensary to get something they may have been prescribed, because they can then choose any company's product, right? They know what they've been prescribed, and then they come in and try to find something that fits better for them because they have selection, whereas they have no selection through the sort of the healthcare system.
Right. And you're labeled, recreation, but it's not all that. It's you're helping people feel better. Connected to medical, except you're not putting that label on it, right?
Well, I would definitely say 90% of habitual marijuana smokers, meaning they consume all the time, are self-medicating. Like, this is just a personal observation, and it's just my opinion. But it seems like most of the people that are really heavy cannabis users are self-medicating, and that I'm not saying self-medicating is not right. You should talk to your doctor, but it's so new up here and new down there that doctors don't know a lot, and a lot of them are afraid of prescribing it because they don't know, and it would be irresponsible of them to prescribe something that they didn't know a lot about. So they have to catch up to kind of where people are at, because I do find a lot of people are self-medicating, and it would be a lot better if they had the guidance of a physician that could really steer them in the right direction. We're super knowledgeable bud tenders, and we will always try to help, but in the end, we are recreational. We're not doctors.
Gotcha.
We can't. We have no background in that, so it would be wrong of us to say. We can tell you what works in our, you have arthritis. Well, people, from what I'm told and from my experience, this product here seems to work well for people. But that's as far as we can go with kind of helping in that sense.
Totally understood. And it could also be based on your experience, too. You have
absolutely
right.
That is what we have to legally base everything on. It's one of the rules up here is that you can base it on your personal experience.
So let's talk about the products that have, and there are many, a blend of THC and CBD, and what each is individually doing. And you could pick anything. It could be, pick a vape, an edible, whatever it is. What's going on? And what each of those two compounds are doing.
Right. Well, I mean, when it comes to inhaling the product, whether that be through combustion or vaporization is always going to be you don't have that combustion, that carcinogenic combustion part of it, but there's still a lot of unknowns with vaping. But those two are they're instantaneous. The effect is almost instantaneous. So for people looking to either, to get that recreational high or whatever they're trying to alleviate, the quickest way to get an effect is through vaporization or combustion. That being said, it is also the shortest. So you're going to get that instantaneous or almost instantaneous effect, and then shortly thereafter, you're going to come down from that. Vaping is, I find, especially when you get into distillate compounds. So distillate meaning they've removed just THC, and then they've removed just CBD, and then they might put them back together into a cart. But all the other minor cannabinoids aren't there. It's just these two isolated products. So the effect will be instantaneous, but it's going to be really high and fast. So you're going to go right up really quickly, and then you're going to come down quickly as well. So that effect, whatever effect you're looking for, is short. When combusting it, I find that is a little bit longer of an arc to it. So it is still very quick, and it still tapers off quite quickly, but I find not as quickly as vaporization. And then we get into those products that I've talked to you about, live resin and rosin, and sort of where you're getting all those minor cannabinoids in the product. That's going to be more, if you're vaporizing that, it's going to be more like combusting it because you're getting sort of more of the entourage effect. So that would be those. And then if you're consuming it through an edible means, so an oil or a capsule, that's going to take a longer time to sort of become bioavailable to your body. So usually the effects take anywhere from, 15 to up to 2 hours before it can take effect, before your liver processes it and it gets into your bloodstream. But those effects they can last, 4 to 8 hours. And if you overdo it, they can last, as we had a discussion last time with one of your friends, the side effects can last for, a lot longer. So I always, go back to it, go low, go slow with the edibles. So those would be sort of the differences now when you are consuming it that effect is going to be more internal as well. So I find for arthritis, maybe for initial pain you might combust or vape, but realistically that is not giving you any kind of that anti-inflammatory effect that you're looking for. So like consuming it would be a more appropriate or a more beneficial way of consuming it, right? But anxiety, you might want to vape because you're going to get an instantaneous kind of relaxation. Whereas if you ate it, well, you don't want to feel anxiety for half an hour before it kicks in, right?
Right. Yeah, it just seems that if you're not doing an edible, you have more control over it, or at least you can monitor things and make adjustments as needed. I'm kind of surprised with the edibles. It's my understanding that you only get 60% of what you ingest like that. And that could be a vitamin as well. Have you ever heard that?
Yes, absolutely. And one of the theories I've heard out there is that our bodies are made up of mostly water. And most of these oils, capsules, all these things are made with oil. Now, oil and water don't mix.
Mm.
So there are some products now available that are water soluble. And apparently your uptake of those is much higher than an oil-based product. So up here we have a product called Viola. It is, I believe, Allen Iverson, an NBA player's. Don't quote me on that, but it is an NBA player's company up here, and it's called Viola. It's named after his mother who went through a cancer treatment. And what it is water-soluble drops that you put in. And because it's water-soluble, it's more bioavailable and it's quicker. It actually doesn't have to even be processed through your liver per se. It just can be absorbed sort of through your stomach as well. So it's a quicker acting and it's more bioavailable, so you do get more of it into your system.
So I'm going to give you
that's a new product.
A real world example. Talked to a friend last night, and somebody gave her gummies to sleep. And the potency on one was 8.9 milligrams of THC and like 9.8 milligrams of CBD. And
right.
I said, that seems kind of reasonable. And I have, and I'm going to see if I remember if I took a picture, because I like to just compare exactly. I don't have it on me. But the ones I have about the same, about 10% THC, but much more CBD. I think it's like 50, and melatonin. Right. So
right.
Comparison in your mind between those two, and that we're just using a random example here.
I mean, I have heard we're not allowed to sell melatonin with the compounds.
I remember you said that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I have heard nothing but amazing things about it for sleep.
And you've said that before, but for our comparison, because that's not on your sales radar, let's pretend that the melatonin isn't in the one that I suggested, and the difference between the amounts in there, with an eye on sleep.
Right. So definitely CBD compound, especially if you're having, inflammation issues, mood issues, things like that, mood stabilization. CBD compounds are being sort of looked at as being real beneficial for that. And one thing I will say is everyone is different, and dosing is not a science like, say, a medication would be. I have a gentleman that works here that is 6'6", 260, and he eats quite a bit of cannabis to get where he wants to go. I am 170 pounds. I eat way less than our weight difference, like percentage-wise. I'm like kind of in the 30 milligram mark is where I look for THC and CBD compounds. And then his wife is 100 pounds soaking wet. She can eat anything, any amount, and it just doesn't do anything. So the compounds you see and what they are is basically, the way I kind of look at it is everyone's different. You need to find what dosing works for you. So they've been finding as well, CBD compounds, we need a real high dose to get a lot of the effects. So at first we were kind of balanced, but now they're finding that the CBD has more of the properties we're looking for, and the consumer might be looking for, especially when it comes to the medicinal side of things. So they're going with way higher doses of CBD because the benefits seem to be, far higher with higher doses. So we just got a gummy out. We're limited here to having a gummy. We can only have 10 milligrams of THC in a gummy in Canada. But we can have 100 milligrams of CBD. So we're now have gummies here that have 100 milligrams of CBD in them.
Wow. And in just one?
In just one, yeah.
How?
And people are really, they're exploding in popularity. And there's no THC. A lot of them have no THC in them, and people are coming in and just buying this. They call it a CBD bomb, and eating these 100 milligrams CBD. Yeah, it's interesting.
Really
but
is.
I would definitely say CBD is the higher dosing is you're going to see more and more of that.
Thank you for sharing that, because I looked at that number and I'm like, whoa, tap the brakes. But it seems reasonable if it's, you want to go to sleep, it's going to help you and support you.
And with CBD, you can't really overdo it.
Right.
It's like, you're just going to have really expensive pee. You know what I mean? If you take too much, that is the way. So yeah, there's no known overdosing or anything like that from CBD.
Gotcha. I just want to share with everybody that being the first and only certified living wage dispensary in the capital of Canada, you've set up a model, and especially with your products, my gosh, you're humble. Got to tell you, Clayton, but your knowledge and the products that you have blows away anything I've ever seen here in the States. And if anybody is in the States and potentially looking to maybe jump into a dispensary, and the knowledge and the model that comes from Clayton's company, I'm sure you would welcome any interest there, right?
Absolutely. The most important thing to me was when I opened this store was living wage jobs for people. So anyone that wants to know how that model works, any industry, I would love to tell you the math behind it and why it works and why it's beneficial to everyone to go with this model. It benefits everyone, and it truly, the economic benefits to a company are there. It's just we're so used to an old military World War II style of management and running companies that this model is new, and there's companies like Cliff Bar and I know that did it, and it worked, and it's always seems to work. I've yet to see a company that pays their employees properly that can't make it work.
Love it.
It's so yeah. I want to spread that because people are not a disposable commodity. We have to stop treating it like that.
You just said Cliff Bars, right? I'm going to make one statement, and we're out of time, but it just resonated with me. I'm a firm believer in energy, and that we're all energy. And the energy you put in is felt by others. Why do some artists, whether they're true artists or musical artists, why do some resonate more than others? And why have some stood to the test of time? There's millions of people out there doing beautiful work, but some have cut through. I believe it's the energy you put in. And when you mention Cliff Bars, when I think of that product, when I pick that product up, when I buy that product, I don't know what's going on there, and it's not the marketing, it's not the packaging. I get a vibe. I get a certain energetic vibe that this is good. This is good. I'm feeling good people behind this product. And it's probably the living wage situation because they care about their employees and a certain amount of energy went in. It's the same thing when people say, yeah, my grandmother cooked sauce on the weekend and she put love into it. No, she put her energy into it, and that was her love. Yep. So I'm feeling that from, goodnaturecannabis.ca and certainly you, and even meeting some of the people that work for your dispensary. They're wonderful. They're happy. It's amazing. Yeah. I love it.
It makes a big difference. It makes a big difference for everybody when your staff are happy, and it translates to everything. Your customers' mood, to sales, to everything. It's truly,
it's everything.
It's a model everyone needs.
It's in a business. It's everything, and it goes back to the old classic: take care of people, they'll take care of you.
Absolutely.
Clayton, great having you on here. Appreciate it. Stay warm. I know it's cold up there. And
awesome.
We'll talk soon, okay?
Amazing. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.